Dongfeng missile. The Dongfeng, Chinese Dongfeng, pinyin Dongfeng, literal translation East Wind, series, typically abbreviated as DF missiles, are a family of short, SRBM, medium, MRBM, intermediate range, IRBM, and intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBM, operated by the Chinese People's Liberation Army Rocket Force, PLARF, formerly the 2nd Artillery Corps. Their export designations are MEX, hence they are also known as the M family missiles. The Dongfeng series missiles are a large family encompassing both conventional and nuclear missiles, capable of covering short, medium, and long-range targets. Because the US and the Soviet Union destroyed their medium-range ballistic missiles under the Intermediate-Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, INF Treaty, the Dongfeng series is currently the only land-based ballistic missile series in the world covering all ranges. Under the Sino-Soviet Treaty of Friendship, Alliance and Mutual Assistance in the period of 1957 to 1962, the Soviet Union transferred training and combat models, licenses, and technical documentation for the production of our 1 SS-1 Scunner and our 2 SS-2 sibling ground-based operational tactical ballistic missiles and our 11F SS-1B Scud-A sea-launched ballistic missiles. Which rockets the USSR shipped to China prior to the break in 1960 is unclear, but they probably included the SS-2 siblings. The Soviet R-2 SS-2 sibling, short-range ballistic missile, SRBM, was essentially a modified version of the German V-2 rocket, using a single RD-101 engine that burned liquid oxygen and ethanol, also called ethyl alcohol, grain alcohol, drinking alcohol, or simply alcohol. On December 6, 1957, an agreement was signed to license production of the R-2 to China, which was produced as the Dongfeng 1, DF-1. In August 1958, a group of OKB-1 senior engineers and several R-2 missiles were sent to China in aid of that country's fledgling ballistic missile program. This team was sent home August 2, 1960, amidst increased tension between the Soviet Union and China. In 1958, the 5th Research Academy began to duplicate the Soviet R-2 SS-2 sibling missile with the assistance of Soviet advisors. However, duplicate production of the R-2 SS-2 sibling missile was adversely affected by the politics of the Great Leap Forward from 1958 to 1962. The development program was hampered by problems regarding the technology, personnel, and material associated with the duplicate production of the R-2 SS-2 sibling. As a solution, many aspects of the missile were imported, substituted, and domestically developed. Successful test launching of 3 duplicate SS-2 siblings was carried out in November and December of 1960. Contractor, Chinese Academy of Launch Vehicle Technology, CLT. Operator, 2nd Artillery Corps. The first Dongfeng 1, DF-1, launch fitted with a dummy warhead took place on November 5, 1960 from the Juchuan base. Deployment of the conventionally armed DF-1 ballistic missile, the domestically produced Chinese version of the R-2 SS-2 sibling, occurred in the 1960s. The missile was 17.7 meters in length, 1.65 meters in diameter, had a takeoff weight of 20.5 tons, a range of 590 kilometers, and had a thrust of 37 tons. The control system was a mixed guidance type using inertial guidance and radio transverse deviation correction. Following the Sino-Soviet split, the Chinese used their existing missile production facilities to build an indigenous missile design, the Dongfeng 2, DF-2, Western designation, CSS-1.